Today is a big day and I've got a surprise. My bookshelves are finally up and I love them so much. I've done rainbow. Well, I've attempted. The ones here turned are just books that I'm gonna sell. It's filmed on haul, which we'll put up later. And so yeah, they're not gonna stay, hopefully for long. And yeah, I am in love, and this is my corner of happiness from now on. So let me get ready and I'll start this video. So I cannot believe I'm actually here filming with a proper background, and it took me 4 days to do so between school and work, but finally. And I just showed you briefly, basically, well, if you can call that briefly, but I am probably planning to do a whole bookshelves tour. I have books kind of all over the house. This is definitely the main place where I keep them, but I do also plan to have shelves, kind of floating shelves around the house where to put other books. And so what I'm planning to do is, once I figure out all the places where books, well, for now are gonna be, I can do a tour. And then of course, hopefully sooner rather than later, I can invest in a camera. But I was planning to buy a proper camera and stop filming on my phone before actually we bought a house. So yeah, it just, the priority changed as of now, but I'm definitely getting my hands, probably maybe for my birthday if I can, on a proper camera so the quality can go up as well. But sorry about the rambling, I just want to show you, and I'm really happy that I can have my chair. Sometimes you film for hours and yeah, I was losing the sensibility in my legs and so on. It's an all game changer, so I'm happy about that. So today I wanted to do a wrap up things that I've read recently, just because I tried to read mostly kind of horror-ish or thriller books because of the theme of the month. If you are new to the channel, what I've done recently is I put up different TBRs. So I have a lot of reading challenges going on, and I don't do monthly wrap up for this year at least. I might change things in the next year if you prefer, so do let me know please. And what I've done for books that do not fit in any challenge that I am currently doing is basically do random wrap-ups once I've gathered 6 things. I will wrap up the horror-ish thriller things first, and then at the end there's just an audiobook that doesn't fit in that category that I'll wrap up at the end. I put a couple of statistics here. Do let me know if you appreciate statistics also, and if you want to see more, or if you want me to get into more details, or if it's enough to just put them on the screen and move on. So the first thing I'm gonna wrap up is the manga I've read, which is Magical Girl Apocalypse. This is volume 2 and this is by Kentaro Sato. I'll show you some of the art if I can. Now, I did speak about this in both my recent haul and also in my reading the 10 most bizarre mangas ever written. I'll link both videos up here and down below. There's literally nothing I can show you. Okay, first one is. But just to give you a really brief synopsis, if you haven't watched any of those 2 videos, you've got this boy. He gets to school as every day he does. He's in class, he looks out the window and he sees this really weird girl, and this girl starts murdering people in really the most brutal way you can think of. And there is the sort of apocalypse happening, and a lot of people die, and there is a lot of blood. This is definitely mature content, be aware of that. I really enjoyed the first volume. I thought it was definitely unique. In this one, character that is introduced that I didn't really like the way it was used, and I thought it was just freaking creepy. And with all the people dying, I really don't understand why he's being given the fate that he definitely doesn't deserve. So that guy irked me definitely, and it was just a bit less interesting than the first volume. I got the 3rd volume, so I'm gonna continue on, give another volume a try and see if it's just a one-off or I might actually enjoy it. It's a 3 stars. I didn't hate it by any means.
I love the art. I still think it's so brutal that it's almost funny, because it's definitely splatter. I don't know if I'm gonna commit myself to all the series. I kind of need to see where this is going. The one that I DNF'd, All the Good Indians, I don't even remember the title. It was my mistake, this, I believe. I don't know if in the future I might attempt again. I think I'm gonna wait for some reviews to come out. I found this on Scribd, which is an app that I really use a lot, just because I do a lot of things around the house, maybe just put on audiobook or in the morning getting ready and all of that. So I really enjoy Scribd. It's a way for me to consume way more books than I would have been able to do in physical format for this year. So I found that on Scribd, the new release. I know it was a horror, I saw it in a few hauls, and I was like, yes please, but I hated the narrator. So the point with audiobooks is that I use them while I do other stuff. I guess there's my fault in maybe not being always 100% focused on what I'm hearing, but there is also an element of skills where the narrator has to change voice. If it has to be alluring or soothing, or it has to be a voice that kind of brings me back to the story. And in this case, I found this monotone. I just couldn't get the plot. I didn't know what was happening. I just heard a lot of racism against this guy who was Indian, and I honestly, I've listened to probably 2 hours and I don't know what was happening, like zero. So definitely never gonna try again the audiobook. I'd definitely not suggest the audiobook. I might try in the future to get hands on the books if you suggest it. I'm not gonna listen to this, so bye. Then I've actually read the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. Now this has been all over BookTube, so I'm sure you've heard of this many times. Love the aesthetics of this book. It's just so gorgeous. Well, I'm showing you this. I love the premise is that you've got your typical housewife with 2 children. Her name is Patricia. She has a book club with some of her neighbors that live in this really happy, cuddled, small city in USA where all people are kind of wealthy. And then one day, our protagonist Patricia, she is attacked by one of the neighbors who apparently lost her mind. And what happens is that this neighbor nephew comes into town and things get really bad from there. When I went into this, I was a bit misled. Yes, there is a supernatural creature. This might be defined by some vampire, but it's by no means what we are used to. That's a thing that I appreciate about this book, is that this creature we are dealing with is definitely something unique in the genre of vampires. So I really appreciated that. I really appreciated how it was more psychological battle more than anything else. This is not 5 stars for me. I gave it 4 stars. I loved the writing. I loved the atmosphere that this guy could put on, and I was there with them, and I don't know, it just felt so cozy. It felt like, I don't know, watching a Murder, She Wrote episode. I would not be able to express my experience of this book in any other way. Of when I was a child, we used to have a cabin house, so in the woods on a mountain and in Italy, and we would go there, and I would go there with my grandma, and she would always watch Murder, She Wrote, and the atmosphere of solving a mystery with like a kind of middle-aged woman was really clever. It was just that exactly that vibes. The misogyny in this book and the way our protagonist and her friends behave, sometimes it would drive me absolutely mad. I do understand the context of this story, so I do understand why those decisions were made. It doesn't take away the fact that it kind of got on my nerves a lot about how submissive even our protagonist sometimes gets, and I definitely do not like the way our protagonist's role is shaped in the end, how passive she was in the final solution of this. After reading all of this and her being, the driving force of the story, I was expecting so much more by her, and instead the passive role she has in the final moments I was just a bit disappointed. So not 5 stars, but 4 stars. I would definitely still recommend this. I think it's just a unique experience, and at the same time it's cozy, it's not too scary. I mean, I've heard people say, oh, it's really brutal and scary and all that. I don't know, I guess because I read horror a lot, this doesn't scare me at all. I don't think it is scary. For the majority of parts, there is not even violence apart from the end, which, yes, the end kind of get out there, but again, I didn't find it, I don't find this particularly disturbing at all. I think it's just a really fun, horror-ish book to read with a good vibe, so definitely recommend it. Then I listened to Clown in a Cornfield. I don't remember the name of the author, found this on Script. It was all over the place, and honestly, I heard horrible things about these, so I was a bit hesitant going into it, but I said, listen, it's a right fit for the month. So this story is about this girl. She moves to this small town, and she is there for a few days when they go to a party with some of her schoolmates in a cornfield, in a barn in a cornfield, and all of a sudden this clown, which is supposed to be the mascot of the town, comes out and starts killing off teenagers. I didn't hate this as much as other people did, I guess. I probably took this really lightly from the beginning. I have to say that he is writing to you as if you are reading something written by a 15, 17 years old who's not particularly smart or interesting. I don't know why he chose that. I guess that was not, I personally think that was not a good idea to write a book like, you know, with music references or, you know, social media and leaving all of that. So teenagers comes out of this looking really dumb, and I know that some of them are like that, but not all of them are. So I think that's something that definitely kind of bothered me as well. And the ending, a lot of people critiqued. I was kind of neutral, that's fine, didn't care too much. This is a 3-star book. I think it just kept me entertained. So the whole time, it was like watching a slasher movie, and it was just, you know, fast-paced, quick to listen to. It was around 8 hours, they flew by. And I was just honestly curious to see how these people were gonna get butchered. There is nothing major in this plot. There is nothing of solid substance, I would say, in this book. I guess toward the end, when there is one of the final dialogues, we do have some points that I think the author was trying to make, but I honestly think he chose the wrong writing style to then go on and pass on important messages. So because of the writing style and because of the characters we follow, which are all freaking stupid as fuck, I'm sorry, they are just stupid, then throwing gems of wisdom like that by the same people were dumb as fuck until a second ago just didn't resonate well. I think the message didn't go through, but it is entertaining. It's just, it keeps you occupied, it keeps you interested for the length of the book. I didn't mind having read this or listened to. And then the last one that I have actually finished, read for this and completed just yesterday was The Devil All the Time by Donald Ray Pollock. Now, this is not a horror in itself. This is a thriller where you follow a bunch of different characters. None of them are any good. You got our protagonist, I guess. Arvin is not bad boy at all. I think he is the only kind of, if you want, great character in all of these, while all the others are really horrible human beings. And again, I was really eager to read these, and I thought I was gonna love it. And again, I think the writers that kind of put me off the story, meaning that this story is really bare, and you follow all bad characters. And the way this book is going, for me, was clear from the beginning. Like, there was no surprise there. Things happen in a very anticlimactic way, and they just sort of happen. And it's really short story. You follow many characters for the story that this is. For the amount of pages you have, you follow too many characters for you to get in any depth. And the fact that they were shitty human beings, it was just for the sake of them being shitty. So it was like, I think I wrote a Goodreads review, and I wrote down, you know, is there like a curse in that town where everybody's literally a shithead? Like, it's okay. I know you want to shock me. I know what you want to say. I know you want to tell me a story a thriller with murders and all of that in there, and you're just doing it to show me that people suck. I know people suck. The level of people being despicable in this was just, I don't know. I think it was at one point done for shock value. There was no meat on the story. There was no meat when it comes down to explaining why these people were shit or sluts. Women are just sex objects. There is a lot of rape in this, so be aware of that. If you can think of any despicable things that humans can do to each other, it's in here, pretty much. But it's not even that long, or I don't know, there is no introspection enough for this to be particularly interesting. Said that, I didn't hate this. I gave it 3.5 stars. I did like Arvin. Again, this is my general books, so that's why I didn't end up hating it, but I guess I wanted so much more, and even if it had to be so bare, the writing style didn't help. For example, I absolutely love the series by Lansdale, the Hap and Leonard series. There is also an Amazon TV show. Loved that, and all the books are short, and although not all the time I enjoy the plot, the way these characters are portrayed, the way they talk with each other, and the introspection that's there even in a few pages make it worth it for me. Is to these days is one of the series I love the most. So I don't know, I was expecting exactly the same, didn't get it. But again, a lot of people love this, and it's definitely for adults. But again, this is my general book, this is what I like reading, so I didn't detest this by any means. I still got to the end. I'm gonna go sell my copy. There's really no point for me to keeping this. This is not in my book haul and haul, because I just decided like yesterday I was gonna sell it. I'm never gonna reread this. I'm not gonna probably suggest this, but I'm gonna watch the movie and see what I think about the movie. And lastly, I have listened to Bone Crier. I put the thing here. This is a fantasy where you follow mainly 3 protagonists, and 2 of them are bone criers. They are kind of not witches, but they are these humans that work for a deity, and they kind of help dead people once a year move to hell or paradise, their version of it. So they are the farriers of the dead, and there is all lore about how these bone criers are born, and they've got a lot of rules to follow. And on the other side, then you've got this boy who lost his dad to a bone crier. I don't want to spoil all of the lore, because I think that's part of the uniqueness of the story, and what makes this book really good at the end of the day is that learning something that, you know, it's not something, there are many books out there. I don't know if the author came up with this idea. If so we got this boy who's lost his father, he's built all his life upon revenging his dad and killing bone criers. So of course they clash and it becomes a mess, and I think this was another one that was highly entertaining. It's definitely one there where there is romance, and it's definitely YA, but has been written in a way that didn't feel immature and not too cheesy. Nothing that I couldn't tolerate, if it makes sense. Nothing that made me roll my eyes too much. And I think all the characters were interesting, and all of them, even the grey ones, had enough background story. We get to know them well. I really appreciated the story. The lore was new. Exploring this was really interesting, and I'm definitely gonna continue on. And I gave this, I think, a solid, really solid 4 stars. So that's it. That's all I've read basically in this month. Thank you for watching. Wish you a good day, night, depending on where you are. Take care. Ciao.